Good morning, Kasturians. So today we are here to discuss the chapter electromagnetic induction, and in this chapter particularly the topic which we are going to discuss here is self-induction. So let us start. First of all, let us discuss what is self-induction. See, as you people are already aware about the fact that when an electric current is flowing through a conductor, okay, you can see, you can assume a straight conductor. What happens, what was observed when the current was flowing through a straight conductor? The magnetic field around the current carrying conductor was observed. Okay, so here how do we define self-induction? We define self-induction as the phenomenon in which when the electric current is passed through a conducting coil, what happens? This electric current, it gives rise to a magnetic field in the coil. Okay, and due to this magnetic field, what happens? This magnetic field is now arised in the coil, and now due to this magnetic field, the coil, it behaves like a magnet. Okay, so let us see from this figure what is happening. If we set this switch closed, what will happen when this switch is closed? Okay, so there will be some, you can say, some electrons flowing in the circuit. There will be some flow of electrons, and the current will start from a very minimum value and it will reach to a maximum value. Okay, as the switch is closed. So what will happen as the current is changing? There will be change in current is changing from zero to maximum, or we can say minimum to maximum. What will happen? There will be increase in the magnetic flux. You can see when the current is changing from zero to maximum, what is happening? There will be change in magnetic field, and due to change in magnetic field, what will happen? There will be change in magnetic flux. Okay, and you already know what will happen if there is change in magnetic flux. If there is change in magnetic flux in the circuit, there will be some induced EMF in the circuit. And what will happen when there will be some induced EMF in the circuit? This induced EMF, this will oppose the direction of the cause which have caused this induced EMF in the circuit. Okay, now that we can now say that the direction of this induced EMF, it will be opposite to the source of, you can say, source of EMF, or we can say the battery that is used in the circuit. Okay, now the induced EMF which is induced in the circuit is known as self-induced EMF, or we can say the back EMF. Now let us see how do we define, you can say, self-induced EMF and also the self-induction. How do we define them? So we can see that as the strength of the current in this coil is changing, what is happening? The magnetic flux linked with the coil, it is also changing. Okay, and due to change in this magnetic flux, there is an induced EMF in the coil, and this induced EMF which is induced in the coil, this induced EMF is known as self-induced EMF, and this whole phenomenon is known as self-induction. Okay, now see this apparatus. In this apparatus, what you are able to see, you can see this is a conducting coil. Okay, and this is a rheostat. Here you can see the switch, and this is a battery. Okay, and all these components, they are connected using the connecting wires. Now let us see if we want to find out the self-induction, or we can say the coefficient of self-induction. Now first of all, as we can see this coil, as you can see this coil, it is having some number of turns. So we can assume this number of turns in the coil be N, and the flux linked with each turn be phi. As we already know that there is some flux generated in the coil. Okay, and we can assume that this flux linked with each turn is phi. Now what will be the total flux that will be linked through the whole coil? See, N number of turns and phi flux is associated with each turn. So the total flux linked with the whole coil is N phi. Okay, now as you can see, the total flux linked with the coil, it is directly proportional to the current flowing through the coil. Okay, understood? So now let us see what happens. As we can see, this flux is directly proportional to the current flowing through the coil, and the total flux is N phi, and you can say it is directly proportional to I. So if we remove the proportionality sign, what do we get? We get N phi, it is equals to L into I. And what is this L here? It is the constant of proportionality, and this constant of proportionality here is known as self-inductance of the coil. Okay, now we can write this equation as N phi is equals to Li, and we can arrange this equation to get the coefficient of, you can say, coefficient of proportionality or the self-inductance of the coil. So what do we get? We get the self-inductance of coil as N into phi, that is total flux total flux linked with the coil per unit current passing through the you can say current passing through the coil, or that the current induced in the coil. Now how do you define this self-inductance? The self-inductance, it is defined as the measure of flux which is linked with the coil per unit current which is flowing through the circuit, or you can say the coil. Now we have found the value of self-inductance linked with the, you can say, coil. Now we want to find out, you can see that there is some induced EMF, okay, in this circuit. Okay, so we want to find out the value of this induced EMF. So let us proceed. As we already know, N phi is equals to L into I. If we differentiate this equation with respect to time, what we get? What do we get? As you can see in the next line, it is written N phi. We differentiate this phi with respect to time. So what this equation becomes? D phi by dt. Okay, and on the right hand side also we will differentiate with respect to time. So what do we get? We get L outside. Why? Because this is coefficient of you can say coefficient of proportionality, or we also call this coefficient of proportionality as self-induction. Self-inductance. Okay, now how we can what we will get after this differentiation of d phi by dt? We already know what is d phi by dt. How do we define that? We define EMF, that is induced EMF in the circuit, is defined as rate of change of flux. Okay, so and it is defined from the Faraday's laws. Okay, and so we can say that Faraday laws and the Lenz's law, they always hold good in case of self-induction. So what we can write? We can write N d phi by dt as minus E. Okay, that is that is EMF induced. E is EMF induced, and we know that direction of EMF induced is opposite to the cause of it. So we have put a negative sign because direction is you can say direction is opposite of this induced EMF. So now we can write this as this E is equals to minus N d phi by dt. So we also call it as, what do we call to this self-induced EMF? We also call it as back EMF. Why? Because its direction is opposite to its cause. Now, see, this side is equals to, we can equate this as EMF induced. So we are left with L di by dt. So this whole equation will be equals to E. So what we can see now? See, this E is equals to minus L di by dt. Okay, and so what we can see, if we want to find out the value of self-inductance, how we will find? We can rearrange this equation, and what we will find? We will find L is equals to minus E di by dt. Okay. Now, how we can define the self-induced EMF from these equations? We can define the self-induced EMF produced as per unit rate of change of current in the circuit. Okay. This is known as self-inductance of the circuit. Now, what will be the unit of this self-inductance? What will be the unit of this self-inductance? It will be, you can see, as you can see from here, that is, this is induced EMF. So induced EMF is having, it is measured in the units of voltage. So we can write it as volts, okay, per unit rate of change of current. Okay, how do we express rate of change of current in terms of unit? That is ampere per unit, you can say second, divided by second. So how we can write? We can write it as voltage second per ampere, and it is also written as, in combined form, it is written as Henry. So what are the factors on which the, you can say, self-inductance of the coil depends? First of all, it depends on shape and size of the coil. As you can see from the formula also, it depends on N, that is number of turns in the coil. Okay, so we can say that it depends on shape and size of the coil, and also on the number of coils. Third thing, it also depends on the magnetic property of the medium within which you can say this magnetic flux exists. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Next we will be discussing in the next class. So thank you.